The Blackmagic Pyxis is almost upon us. Blackmagic's very first 6K box-style camera. There's just one problem. The design kind of sucks. I mean, at least for me, the Pyxis was giving off major Chosen One vibes.
You were the Chosen One! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
I could not, in good conscience, grant the Pyxis the rank of Jedi Master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
So I decided to build my own cube-style Pyxis camera, a Pyxis that in a lot of ways is better and cheaper than the real Pyxis. And with no skills required except an ability to burn through your trusty credit card reserve, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and explain why you may prefer switching to the dark side. So let's start with a list of the things that my Pyxis does that the official Blackmagic Pyxis doesn't.
What Nintendo?
The Pyxis shoots in B-RAW only. My Pyxis can shoot in B-RAW, but it can also film in ProRes, DNx HD, and H.265 in a variety of compressed high-resolution formats. The Blackmagic Pyxis has one mini XLR port. My Pyxis has two mini XLR ports with phantom power. The Blackmagic Pyxis has only one 12G SDI out port for video monitoring. My Blackmagic Pyxis has a 12G SDI in and out port and an HDMI in and out port for video monitoring. The Blackmagic Pyxis has a 1500 nit 5-inch touchscreen monitor which is placed bizarrely on its side. My Blackmagic Pyxis has a 2500 nit 7-inch touchscreen monitor on its top and a flip-out LCD monitor on its side. The Blackmagic Pyxis uses sad old BPU Sony batteries and has no DTAP ports or any ports apart from a USB-C to power accessories. My Blackmagic Pyxis uses standardized professional V-mount batteries and has 4 DTAP ports to power all the accessories for your camera. The Blackmagic Pyxis has no image stabilization. My Blackmagic Pyxis has the best in-body image stabilization on the market. And perhaps the coup de grace. The Blackmagic Pyxis has no real autofocus. My Blackmagic Pyxis has continuous phase detect autofocus. Mic drop. And if you haven't figured it out quite yet, my Blackmagic Pyxis is actually a customized, rigged out, tricked out, all black everything Lumix Panasonic S5iiX. And somehow with no engineering skills whatsoever and just a few accessories, I seem to have made a better Pyxis cube camera than the actual Pyxis. So if you're considering a Pyxis, you might want to consider picking this. Full transparency, I actually bought the S5iiX as a C camera for some of my mobile podcasting work, not realizing just how powerful and versatile this camera actually is. But its robust set of features and shooting options actually make it a rather excellent A cam. And because it's so video focused with just a couple of add-ons, it can be not just a great hybrid cam, but actually a great cine cam. So let's talk about how I have modified it to make it a Pyxis replacement. First, let's start with the most important add-on, and that is the Blackmagic 7-inch Video Assist 12G. Now, while this is a very chonky boy, it's only because it has so many excellent features. Beautiful 2500 nit touchscreen, check. Super simple, easy to navigate Blackmagic interface, check. And most importantly, this monitor gives you the ability to record in B-RAW on the Panasonic. Now, B-RAW is my favorite codec to work with on actual Blackmagic cameras as it gives you RAW functionality with enough compression options to keep your file sizes manageable. The perfect balance of compression and quality. It's also very easy for most computers to edit in natively, and the S5iiX can output a RAW signal through HDMI, and that signal is recorded in B-RAW, thus making your Panasonic camera essentially a Blackmagic camera. But the Video Assist also lets you film in ProRes and DNx HD if you don't want to film in B-RAW, which the Pyxis doesn't. The other important feature of the monitor is its 2 mini XLR ports, which gives you excellent quality sound, something the Panasonic camera's single microphone jack and internal audio can't quite give you. The Assist can actually record something like 8+ audio tracks, and the Blackmagic preamps seem to be the same high quality as those found in their cameras. This monitor recorder is almost its own all-in-one camera system, and pairing it with the S5iiX fixes both of Panasonic's 2 biggest standalone problems: professional audio and raw recording. Plus, you also get this beautiful bright touchscreen monitor to judge your images with all the regular bells and whistles like waveforms and false color. You can record straight to SD cards through dual slots on the side of the monitor, or for higher bit rates and longer recordings, you can plug your monitor into an SSD to more affordably record your B-RAW. Next, we have the base. Now, this cine rig is from Rigid Pro. This creates the cube style shape over our S5iiX camera and includes some very important DTAP ports and a V-mount plate on its back. The Rigid Pro, coupled with a dummy battery and DTAP cables, can power literally everything. Just put a V-mount on this back and run your accessories into its DTAP ports. It's got a convenient on and off switch so you don't drain power while it's not being used. And we have a nice compartment for the Panasonic flip-out screen when it's also not in use. It houses and protects your Panasonic camera body, but changes its shape and balances the camera beautifully when attaching extra accessories. You'll also need the small rig Black Mamba S5 cage to attach your camera to the cine rig contact points at the top and bottom. It's a very simple process. You add your cage, then thread in this gold 3/8 screw into the base of the cage and use this position to line up your Rigid Pro to the bottom using the provided screws. Attach the Rigid Pro to the bottom and top of the cage. I will link to all of these accessories in the description, and I bought this with my own money. But the Rigid team have kindly provided a discount code which I've included in the description. Their shipping times and communication is very fast, and they always have the cine bases in stock, unlike another company making something similar. Now, you attach a basic SSD holder to the Rigid Pro and attach a NATO rail to connect your top handle and a monitor mount for your top handle. Place the monitor onto this, and you could also use a second NATO rail and monitor mount if you want to keep the monitor closer to the camera. If you're feeling really froggy, you could also try this Condor Blue ProBlade SSD top handle to plug into the Video Assist for a very streamlined, bespoke rigging option, rather than mount an SSD on top. The ProBlade SSD slides into the top handle itself, keeping for a very minimalist setup while recording, but it's not a necessity. I'm running a dummy battery from my camera to one of the DTAP ports. I'm running a DTAP to 12-volt cable to my monitor, and that's it. Simple, elegant, refined, cube-style cine camera, but with the additional features of a hybrid camera. It is quite literally the best of both worlds. And ultimately, the biggest pro of this over the Pyxis is going to be the additional functionality. I mean, who hasn't wished for real quality autofocus when operating one of their Blackmagic cameras? Well, this S5iiX will provide you that premium feature, and for corporate work and quick turnaround doc work, autofocus with B-RAW is a dream combo. The S5iiX Pyxis is basically the Blackmagic camera for those who don't have the time and patience to shoot with a Blackmagic camera. In-body stabilization is also a great feature to have, and Panasonic's IBIS is the gold standard. This is a feature which currently no Blackmagic camera has, and this is particularly useful when using cine lenses or older style vintage lenses and filming handheld. You also have the same L mount, which means you can use a wide variety of lenses on it with PL or EF adapters, just like the Pyxis. And look, the great thing about the Savage Pyxis, as I've just coined the term, is that you can scale everything back if you want. Yes, you can use B-RAW and get that beautiful image, but if you don't need to, you can just use the regular Panasonic internal H.265 codecs, which offer way smaller file sizes, which is perfect for projects that don't require big color grades. With the actual Blackmagic Pyxis, you are stuck at a certain quality level, which is excellent, but not always necessary. And since Blackmagic Design dropped internal ProRes as an available codec, a lot of people felt a disturbance in the force.
As if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Thankfully, the Savage Pyxis restores balance to the force, as not only can you record to the video assistant ProRes, but you can on the S5iiX as well with an SSD drive, which you will have already purchased for recording with the monitor. I mean, remember the Panasonic EVA 1? Well, this is the Panasonic EVA 2. But Master Savage, I hear you ask, surely all these accessories and mods are going to make the Savage Pyxis Panasonic EVA 2 way more expensive than just buying a real Pyxis. Well, young Padawan, let's crunch some numbers, shall we? The S5iiX body is $2,000, the video assist $800, the Cine base from Rigid Pro is $309, a dummy battery will be $35, a D-Tap to 12-volt cable $22, 1TB SSD $120, SSD holder $40, small rig top handle $29, NATO rail $10, V-mount battery $200. Excluding a lens, that's $3,565 all up to have the full Pyxis experience with this S5iiX camera. Now, the official Blackmagic Pyxis camera body starts at $3,000. The Sony BPU battery is $99 and it doesn't come with one. CFast Express Type B 1TB card will be $200. Buying a 7-inch SDI monitor will set you back about $800 for a good one. So, top handle is currently $85 for the official Blackmagic one. So now excluding a lens, that's $4,184 for a Blackmagic Pyxis. And that still needs batteries for its monitor, by the way. The S5iiX can also take professional photography stills, which the Pyxis most definitely cannot. And look, if you don't like the size of the Blackmagic Video Assist, you can always utilize an Atomos Ninja V and shoot in ProRes RAW. It cuts down the size of the rig, and it's cheaper than the Video Assist. The only problem is it doesn't feature XLR ports like the Assist does, and you can't edit those ProRes RAW files in DaVinci Resolve. But whether it's flexibility or value for money, this camera setup kind of does it all. You're welcome, YouTube. So what's the catch? Well, first, this beautiful Savage Pyxis cube is only really a cube on one side. The other side still has that S5iiX grip sticking out. Great for holding, but not technically cube-shaped. Don't at me, bro. The S5iiX only shoots B-RAW in 5.9K, not 6K like the Pyxis. So if you're hung up on that 0.1 of a K, the Pyxis wins. The S5iiX also can't shoot slow motion without cropping into 4.1K, while the Pyxis does deliver 48 frames per second uncropped as long as you're not filming in open gate mode. And speaking of open gate mode, sadly, this is not available on the S5iiX when you're filming in B-RAW. You can only shoot 6K open gate in the compressed H.265 format. So if you were dreaming of B-RAW open gate on the Panny, it's not an option. Also, the Rigid Pro currently removes the option of attaching the Panasonic DMW XLR preamp to its hot shoe, which is a great way to capture sound straight into camera, and this is an unfortunate loss when buying into this setup. The other strange quirk of this RAW output is that you can only film in 23.98 frames per second, not true 24 frames per second, as the Panasonic will not output a true 24 frame signal. This is really weird and something I hope gets fixed with firmware. I mean, they went to all the trouble of giving us true 24p in the internal recording on Panasonic, so it seems strange that it's not available in its RAW output. And there is a lag when you're filming utilizing the RAW output. It's been talked about in other videos. Strangely, it gets much worse when you are sending audio through HDMI, and it gets a lot better if it's video only. So how much this bothers you will probably depend on the type of filming you do, but it's definitely there. And finally, and most importantly, B-RAW on the S5iiX is not the same as internal B-RAW on a Blackmagic camera. The color science, the highlight roll-off, the creaminess, everything that makes a Blackmagic image the best image south of a red cinema camera is not entirely integrated into the Panasonic version. After all, the Blackmagic isn't going to give away all its trade secrets. They retain the special sauce, those cinematic vibes, that soft, pleasing warmth, and the S5iiX version of B-RAW just can't quite replicate it. My personal opinion is no sub $5,000 camera delivers as good an image as the Blackmagic 6K full frame does. That's what makes the Blackmagic cameras so great. It's their image. It's the reason I shot on Blackmagic 6Ks for a 6-month-long international documentary I worked on. There's just nothing quite like it. So if you want that true, authentic Blackmagic feel, accept no substitutes. I mean, let's be clear. While I don't think much of the Pyxis design, I don't hate Blackmagic. Quite the opposite. I own 4 Blackmagic cameras and many more accessories. And I'm not trying to bash Blackmagic just for the sake of it. I have my issues with their cameras, and I want to see them get better. But ultimately, Blackmagic and I are still besties. Best friends just have the odd falling out sometimes. And it's in those times that you spend a little bit of time with new friends. So if you like all the things the Savage S5iiX gives you while wanting to get a lot of the same benefits of a Pyxis camera, then it might be time to try this cinema build and enjoy a fantastic hybrid camera that, well,
some consider to be unnatural.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. But remember, subscribing doesn't mean anything nowadays unless you hit the notification bell. So do that as well, or forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice. As always, I am the Savage S5 Mark II filmmaker, and I'll see you when I see you.